Football is the world's most beloved sport, a universal language that transcends borders and cultures. The electric atmosphere of a packed stadium, the collective anticipation before a penalty kick, the unbridled joy of an underdog victory. These are the moments that make football truly magical. Yet beneath this shimmering surface lies a darker reality, one where raw emotion curdles into violence, tribal loyalty morphs into blind hatred, and the pursuit of victory gives way to outright corruption. This is not just a story about football's greatest scandals, but an examination of how the sport's most passionate elements, players, fans, and officials, can sometimes cross the line from devotion to destruction. From shocking acts of violence on the pitch to deadly fan riots, from match-fixing conspiracies to the persistent plague of racism, football has repeatedly faced moments that threaten its very soul. Players losing control, when emotions overpower reason. Zinedine Zidane's moment of madness, 2006 World Cup Final. Zinedine Zidane was the epitome of footballing elegance, a player whose grace and skill made him one of the greatest midfielders in history. His career should have ended in glory, lifting the World Cup for France in Berlin. Instead, it ended in infamy. In the 110th minute of the 2006 final against Italy, with the score tied 1-1, Zidane and Italian defender Marco Materazzi exchanged words. What exactly was said remains disputed, but most reports indicate Materazzi insulted Zidane's sister. In an instant, the French captain turned, walked back, and delivered a vicious headbutt to Materazzi's chest. The red card was immediate. Without their leader, France lost on penalties, and Zidane's legacy was forever tarnished by that moment of uncontrolled rage. The deeper issue. This incident raises questions about provocation in football. Should players be better protected from verbal abuse, or is mental fortitude part of the game? Zidane's meltdown shows that even the greatest can crack under pressure. Eric Cantona's Kung Fu Kick, 1995. When a fan went too far, Eric Cantona was Manchester United's mercurial genius, a player capable of sublime skill, but with a notorious temper. In January 1995, after being sent off at Crystal Palace, a fan named Matthew Simmons leaned over the advertising hoardings and allegedly shouted racist abuse. Cantona's response was shocking. He launched himself into the crowd with a flying kick straight to Simmons' chest. The fallout was severe. A 9-month ban, later reduced, criminal charges, and endless media scrutiny. Yet Cantona never apologized, famously saying only, "When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea." The lasting impact. This incident forced English football to confront its hooligan problem more seriously. It also raised questions about player-fan interactions and the lack of protection for athletes from abuse. Paolo Di Canio's referee shove, 1998, crossing the ultimate line. Italian striker Paolo Di Canio was never one to hide his emotions. In a 1998 match against Arsenal, after being shown a red card, he pushed referee Paul Alcock, who stumbled dramatically before falling. The image became iconic, symbolizing player-referee tensions. The aftermath. Di Canio received an 11-game ban, one of the longest in Premier League history at the time. This incident contributed to stricter punishments for referee abuse in subsequent years. Luis Suarez, the serial biter, a disturbing pattern. Luis Suarez's biting incidents represent one of football's strangest disciplinary cases. 2010, Ajax, bit PSV's Otman Bakal. 2013, Liverpool, bit Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic. 2014 World Cup, bit Italy's Giorgio Chiellini. Despite multiple lengthy bans, Suarez continued this bizarre behavior until his final offense earned a 4-month suspension from all football activities. Psychological perspective. Experts have debated whether this represents a psychological issue or simply extreme gamesmanship. Either way, it showed football's disciplinary system struggling to correct repeated misconduct. Roy Keane's revenge tackle, 2001, premeditated violence. In his autobiography, Roy Keane admitted his infamous tackle on Alf-Inge Haaland was intentional payback for a previous injury Haaland had caused him. The brutal challenge effectively ended Haaland's career at the top level. Ethical questions. This raised disturbing questions about on-field violence being used as retribution. Should players face legal consequences for deliberately injuring opponents? Fans crossing the line when support turns to savagery. The Hazel disaster, 1985. Football's darkest night. The 1985 European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus should have been a celebration. Instead, it became a tragedy. Hours before kickoff, Liverpool fans charged at Juventus supporters, causing a panicked crush against a collapsing wall. 39 people died, mostly Italians. The fallout: English clubs were banned from European competition for 5 years, and stadium safety regulations were completely overhauled. The disaster changed football security forever. Andres Escobar's murder, 1994, when football became life or death. After scoring an own goal that contributed to Colombia's World Cup elimination, defender Andres Escobar was shot dead outside a Medellin nightclub. The killer reportedly shouted "Gol" with each bullet, mocking Escobar's mistake. The dark reality. This tragedy exposed football's connection to organized crime in Colombia and showed how dangerously high emotions could run. The European Super League revolt, 2021. Fans versus corporate greed. When 6 English clubs announced a breakaway Super League in April 2021, fan outrage was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands protested outside stadiums, with some storming the pitch at Old Trafford. Within 48 hours, the project collapsed under public pressure. The silver lining. This showed that despite commercialization, fans still hold real power in football when united. Racism's persistent stain. From bananas to cyber abuse, football's racism problem has evolved but never disappeared. 1970s-80s, black players faced monkey chants and banana throwing. 2000s, subtler forms of discrimination in scouting and coaching. 2020s, social media abuse targeting players like Vinicius Jr., Romelu Lukaku. Despite anti-racism campaigns, the problem persists globally, requiring stronger action from authorities. Calciopoli, 2006. Italian football's shame. This match-fixing scandal revealed Juventus, AC Milan, and other clubs colluding with referees to influence results. The fallout was massive. Juventus relegated to Serie B. Multiple titles stripped. Italian football's reputation severely damaged. The systemic problem showed how deeply corruption could infiltrate a major league. The 2013 Singapore match-fixing scandal. A global betting syndicate was found to have fixed over 700 matches worldwide, including World Cup qualifiers and Champions League games. The scale was unprecedented. The solution needed: better international cooperation to combat organized crime in football. The 2018 Ghana investigation. An undercover report exposed referees openly discussing bribes, with one saying, "If you bring the money, I will make sure you win." This showed corruption remains rampant in some footballing nations. Solutions: how football can protect its soul. For players, mental health support systems, stricter punishments for violent conduct, education on emotional control. For fans, lifetime bans for violent/racist behavior, improved stadium security technology, alcohol restrictions in high-risk matches. For the sport, independent anti-corruption bodies, transparent VAR processes, stronger whistleblower protections. Protecting football's future. The game's greatest strength, its passionate following, is also its greatest vulnerability. As football continues to grow globally, maintaining its integrity becomes more challenging yet more crucial. Through stronger governance, better education, and unwavering commitment to fair play, the beautiful game can overcome its darkest impulses. Because when football loses its soul, we all lose something priceless.